Man, these live videos are hard. I just did an attempt at recording one, and I listened to a few seconds, and I hated it so much I deleted it. Oh my gosh! So here's take two. Welcome to the group. We had a lot of people join this week, more than doubled, and people are still rolling in. The reason why I think so many people are coming in here is because there's a huge need for this. I mean, what is it? About 5% of the general population has ADHD, and somewhere between 5 and 10%. That means that millions of people have ADHD, and these people are a lot like me. Um, they went to school and they struggled, and the school labeled them, I guess, in the form of grades as being not too sharp or lazy, one or the other. And you're just not studying. You're just not studying. Not knowing that many of us, myself included, tried studying. I used to sit down for hours reading the same sentence over and over and over again, getting so frustrated because I couldn't get beyond. I would like sit there and read, and just nothing would enter my brain. I get so frustrated. I remember shaking, being so mad, because it was just pointless. And after a while, I just kind of gave up in high school. And well, it's not true. I still tried, but barely got by. I did continue to try, but it was hard not to give up. I had to resist that urge constantly. Went all the way through. I mean, took pre-algebra 3 times because and it was just nothing was sticking. I didn't know back then. I didn't know how to study. I didn't know what it took to be successful. I thought that sheer effort would be enough. It was not enough. I had to change the way that I studied to be successful, but I didn't learn that then. And I went through high school knowing that I had ADHD, but I didn't want to get the diagnosis because I felt like, if I had that pinned to me, that it would just be like one more thing, to weigh me down, one more thing to kind of kill my self-esteem. Because it's hard. It's hard to be in a class for your whole life, and everybody around you is getting decent grades if they try at all, and have me try really hard and still barely pass. I mean, that sucks. And that sums up pretty much all of school for me. So I ended up giving up on a lot of my hopes and dreams in high school. I wanted to be a doctor. That's what I wanted to do. Actually, what I wanted to do is I wanted to be a psychologist and a doctor. And just figured I didn't have what it took. I wasn't smart enough. So college wasn't for me. I was going to find some other way to make a living. Then I met my wife, and my wife and I ended up actually going to college together. I'm very thankful for that. And in college, I started taking a degree. Started doing a psychology as a degree. And my wife and I took our classes together and got our degrees together. And in psychology, I learned about cognition. I took a cognition class. I learned about how the mind worked. I started developing some methods, and I actually did very, very well in college. My wife and I had a certain way that we would study together, and it was very interactive, and we followed some principles. I've evaluated what I did in undergrad quite a bit, and found out why it worked, and from that I've developed a model for studying, and from that model I wrote the book, The ADHD Learning Model, and that is kind of the premise of what this is all about. So I got a degree in psychology, and I had fantastic grades, and realized that, heck, I have like a 3.96 GPA. I could apply to medical school, and so I did. I took the MCAT, and I got not fantastic, I got a good score on it, good enough to get into medical school, and it was kind of a miracle, honestly. Anyway, going on. And then I went to medical school, and I am about 4 months away from completing medical school. It was super hard for me. I'm not going to lie. Easily the most difficult thing I've ever done. It's, here's the deal. So in my book, I talk about this. There is an environment, a learning environment, and I call it a replicative learning environment. And that pretty much sums up all of school. And then there's another learning environment called a inventive learning environment, and that is what people with ADHD need. We need opportunities for creativity, and we need opportunities for contribution capacity. I talk about all these things in my book. And if we have that, it makes it pretty easy for us to do quite well. And if we don't have that, it takes more time. It's possible, but it takes more time. But here's the deal. Studying hard is not enough. It just isn't. You can't just, I've tried this in medical school. I'm just going to study like everybody else. I'm just going to sit down. I'm just going to read the books like everybody else and do well on the test. Did terrible. I had to change the way that I studied. And that was when I really started developing the ADHD learning model. And I started writing the book, and man, it made a huge difference. I went from basically right on the border of failing everything in my grades the second year of medical school. Did much better, and better in the third year. Now, I was never at the top of the class, but I made it through. I made it through medical school, which was, for me, like in high school, that would have been impossible, absolutely impossible. So the book that I wrote, the purpose of the book is to give people hope. If you have ADHD, you do not have to throw all of your dreams in the garbage. You don't have to abandon them. It is possible for you to be successful. It's not going to be easy. It was really hard because all those learning environments out there are replicated learning environments. And so you have to adapt the way that you learn to be cohesive, or to be compatible, rather, to your inventive ADHD mind. And that takes time. It does take longer, but you can learn and you can be successful. You need to have confidence in yourself, and you need to work the way that your brain was designed to work, and it doesn't work like everybody else's brain. So I hope that this can give some kids some hope. The Audible that I have tells my story. You can listen to the whole thing in about, I think it's 2.5 hours long. So it's not that long. Hopefully it's a good listen. I've listened to it several times. The person who read it did a fantastic job. I did not read it. My voice is too nasally. So anyway, I hope you're the best. Don't give up. Don't give up on your kids. Believe in your kids. On this group, this is a place where we can talk about solutions, talk about ideas. I don't have all the answers, but I hope that sharing my story will give people out there, give parents hope in their kids, give kids hope in themselves, and we can pull through this as a community. We can be successful. So feel free to introduce yourself, talk about your kid or you or your story or what's going on, what's difficult for you. What do you want me to talk about on here? The Audible is like $6. I made it super cheap. The first couple hundred that I sell, I want people to have an opportunity to kind of spread the word a little bit. So I'm selling it super, super cheap right now. And anyway, best of luck to you, and I hope that my message is helpful for you. Goodbye.